If you're looking for an enthusiastic hunting companion who doesn't take up much space, works alongside you in the field, and still has enough energy to romp with the kids in the yard, then the English Cocker Spaniel might be just the dog for you. Texan John Poindexter was trying to squeeze in the last bit of afternoon daylight for a promised quail hunt for his two friends, Alan Foster and Chris Cobb. Poindexter had already had a full day entertaining over a dozen guests at lunch at his recently acquired Cumberland Plantation property, overlooking the historic Pamunkey River in New Kent County, Virginia. In the middle of lunch, he had to have one of his favorite bird dogs, an English Cocker Spaniel, rushed 40 miles away to Richmond for an emergency veterinarian visit. Fortunately, his other female English Cocker was available and anxious to go. Foster had also brought along his two English Cockers, Fitz and Rex. If you have only a limited amount of daylight to hunt quail, an English Cocker will make sure none of it is wasted. The slender 6-foot 4-inch Texan and the 1-foot 4-inch Cocker might look like an odd couple standing still, but when the two hunt together, they appear to be a perfect match, each seeming to read the movements of the other. Briars and thick brush deterred neither, as the Cocker went under the growth and Poindexter pushed his way through it. According to Poindexter, more and more good Texas bird hunters are using English Cocker Spaniels these days, and like most of us, we prefer to hunt with our own dogs. When bird hunting, the Houston native travels as often as possible with his English Cockers. So, as he put it, hunting with a dog that, when crated, will fit under an airline seat is a big advantage. Traditionally, in Virginia and much of the Southeast, bird hunters use either pointers or setters for quail hunting. Occasionally, someone will use a boykin to do the retrieving. However, a number of southern quail plantations now let pointers and setters find the birds, leaving an English Cocker to flush and retrieve them. We began using English Cockers 7 to 8 years ago, not just as retrievers but flushing dogs as well, stated Annie Atchison, who with her husband Bill owns Rio Piedra Plantation in Camilla, Georgia. We use them in conjunction with pointing dogs, English pointers usually. The roles are that the pointers find the birds, the Cockers flush on command, and then retrieve the successful shots. Annie believes using English Cockers serves two purposes. One, it solves a safety issue by keeping the guide behind the guns since he won't have to flush the birds himself. Everybody is happier shooting over a 14-inch tall dog than a 6-foot tall guide, she said. The other purpose a Cocker serves at Rio Piedra is it produces a more exciting flush than a guide can. Once the Cocker finds the covey, it waits for the command from its handler. Then it charges in, and the covey explodes, creating challenging shooting. Often, there is a question of working pointing dogs and flushing dogs together when hunting quail. Annie put those thoughts to rest. Our concern was one of role coordination and the temptation of pointers becoming less steady to wing and shot. It turned out to be a non-issue. We keep 2 pointers and 1 Cocker on the ground at all times. The pointers seem to like to find and point quail, and having the Cockers do the flushing and retrieving seems to suit the pointers just fine. The use of English Cocker Spaniels is not an occurrence isolated to Rio Piedra. Dan O'Connor, general manager of the George High Plantation in Garland, North Carolina, has been using these spaniels for 4 to 5 years to flush and retrieve quail. He first discovered the English Cocker Spaniel's working ability a number of years ago when shooting pheasants on the Isle of Anglesey in Wales. He stated that at that time, no one was using English Cockers in the United States. However, on this shoot in Wales, he became convinced there was a role for Cockers when bird hunting in the States. He said there was this one little black bitch who was the star of the show and overshadowed the labs very thoroughly. Along with quail hunting, the George High Plantation puts on 5 pheasant hunts a season and uses Cockers for all of them. Jordan Horak of Fremont, Wisconsin, is a breeder and field trialer of English Cockers. His English Cocker juggernaut Cool Breeze JH, aka Breeze, placed 3rd in the 2015 National Cocker Championship held in North Adams, Michigan. He explained that 30 to 40 years ago, field-bred English Cocker Spaniels almost disappeared in the United States, but they never lost their popularity in England. In the 1980s, a few people started importing them from the UK. Since then, there has been a marked increase of field-bred English Cockers. Both Poindexter and Horak commented that a field-bred English Cocker is a very affectionate and good-natured dog that gets along with children and house guests. This enhances the dual appeal of the cocker as an ideal hunting companion and a family pet. Horak explained, "A field-bred English cocker is a great fit for a family because it does not take up the entire house or is difficult to transport." While Poindexter hunts quail with his cockers in West Texas and Virginia, Horak hunts grouse with his in Wisconsin. Because they both have hunted with larger bird dogs that might be easier to spot, some might wonder about the difficulty in finding or keeping up with a small, quick-flushing dog. Again, two different bird hunters using the same breed of dog have similar experiences when hunting. The dogs often like to keep track of their hunting partner as much as their humans like to keep track of them, making for an enjoyable team effort. "In my opinion," commented Horak, "the reason for the increased popularity of the English cocker is threefold: size, personality, and ability. Their personality is contagious, and their hunting prowess far surpasses their physical size. In the field, they are strong retrievers and insatiable hunters, and they have a natural hunting pattern that generally keeps them well within gun range." Republished with permission from Little Dogs, Big Hearts by Clarke C. Jones, 2017. The Upland Almanac, Spring 2017. 2017 by Clarke C. Jones.